Unraveling the Yamy-nama, the Indo-European ancestral puzzle in a groundbreaking study by Iosif Lazaridis and his team from Harvard Medical School, published in Nature on February 5, 2025. The genetic underpinnings of the Indo-European ancestors have been unearthed with the kind of detective work worthy of its own episode of CSI, Ancient Worlds. This paper, packed with more family dynamics and plot twists than a soap opera, might just explain how a group of ancient people started a linguistic revolution that sprawled across continents, giving us everything from the stringent structure of Latin to the poetic defiance of Sanskrit. So, what was in the ancient air over the Eurasian steppes that turned the Yamnaya hordes into the linguistic cousins of nearly half the world today? Well, the study dives into the DNA of 435 ancient individuals, tracing the Yamnaya's roots back to the Neolithic people with the elegance of a genealogist armed with cutting-edge genome sequencing and a map. The Yamnaya, an influential group flourishing between 3300 BC and 1500 BC, were no ordinary Bronze Age folks. With a genetic cocktail derived from both Eastern hunter-gatherers, who presumably weren't just wandering about aimlessly, and Caucasus progenitors, these nomads mastered the art of cultural fusion. Like the original Globetrotters, they adventured from the lower Volga River, linking central Anatolians and the eclectic Hittites through multicultural mingling. This study peels back layers of history using ancient DNA to prove that Yamnaya's secret sauce was mixing gene pools more effectively than your favorite blender. The research team knit together a narrative suggesting that the Yamnaya didn't just appear out of nowhere. Instead, they crafted their identity through a series of gene flows and cultural exchanges over several hundred years, solidifying a super-regional jurisdiction in the neighborhood of history's crossroads. Of course, mapping the genetic ancestry of the Yamnaya wasn't all clear skies and easy rides on quaint horse-drawn wagons. The researchers faced challenges akin to solving a jigsaw puzzle where some pieces were munchies for time itself. Sparse sampling and temporal overlaps made pinpointing precise origins tricky, yet they rallied armed with advancements in ancient DNA analysis and a hefty dose of scholarly perseverance. As for future prospects, the study opens doors to rich discussions about the inherent mobility of prehistoric populations, their social structures, and, certainly, how such geographic hopscotch influenced linguistic and cultural streams. Imagine tracing the Indo-European tree back to its roots, maybe even rethinking how we've perceived the ancient world moving from Proto-Indo-Anatolian whispers to globally renowned tongues. And what about the societal impacts of this research? Imagine a world where understanding our genetic past gets us closer to comprehending our present diversity, where people excitedly discuss their steppe ancestors at dinner parties, sharing tales not just of genes, but of shared humanity. Perhaps this research can inspire a greater appreciation for the ebb and flow of human history and a reminder that the tales of how we got here are still being written in our DNA.